All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're diving deep into all things Ruben Amram.
The new Man U manager.
Right. You sent over some fascinating articles about him, and, well,
There's a lot to unpack.
yeah, there is. One thing that really stood out to me was
Yeah.
this whole storm analogy Amorim keeps using.
hmm
He's basically saying, get ready for some rough times ahead.
Yeah, he's really not sugarcoating it, is he?
Nope. Even saying Man U will get found out in some games.
It's a bold move.
You think?
Especially at a club like Man U,
Right.
with all those expectations.
I mean, it's definitely a different approach than what we usually see.
You're right.
Instead of all the typical, promises about instant success.
The usual fanfare.
He's like, hey, guys,
Yeah.
get ready for some bumps along the way.
He's managing expectations right from the start.
Do you think that's a sign of self-awareness?
I think it is.
Or just a clever way to deflect criticism early on?
Probably a bit of both, if you ask me.
Mhm.
I mean, he's inherited a team that's been,
Yeah.
let's be honest, struggling.
So he knows there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And by using the storm metaphor, he's sort of framing it
Right.
as part of this,
Yeah.
bigger process. Like,
Yeah, a journey.
yeah, like he's saying, hey, we're going to go through some tough times.
Buckle up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stick with us, though.
Yeah.
We'll come out stronger on the other side.
It's almost like this whole underdog narrative he's creating.
It is, isn't it?
And speaking of underdogs, a lot of these articles keep mentioning Mikel Arteta's early days at Arsenal.
Interesting comparison.
Right.
A lot of parallels.
So Arteta had to be patient.
Mm,
Went through some pretty rough patches before things clicked.
yeah.
Do you see any real similarities there, or is that just lazy sports writing?
No, I think there are definitely some genuine similarities. I
Yeah.
mean, both Arteta and Amorim took over teams that needed,
Yeah.
a major overhaul.
Big time rebuilds.
Right. And they both faced a lot of skepticism
Oh, yeah.
from the media, from fans,
Pressure.
tons of pressure. And they both seem to prioritize that
Yeah.
long-term vision over quick fixes.
It's a more sustainable approach.
But are there any key differences that stand out to you?
I think there are a few. For one thing, the expectations at Man U,
Oh, yeah.
they're just on another level compared to even Arsenal.
Different beast altogether.
Yeah, you've got the club's history, the global fan base,
Right.
that constant demand for instant success.
It's a success.
It creates this
Yeah.
unique pressure cooker environment.
Definitely not for the faint of heart.
No, not at all. And then there's the tactical side of things,
Yeah.
which is a whole other discussion.
Yeah, because Amorim has already switched Man U to his signature, that 3-4-3 formation.
Big change.
It is for those who might not be as familiar with formations.
Yeah.
Can you break that down a bit? What does 3-4-3 actually mean on the field?
Sure. So essentially you have 3 center backs at the back,
Okay.
then 4 midfielders and 3 forwards.
Hmm.
It's known for being quite flexible, allows for both defensive solidity and attacking width.
Sounds like a good balance.
It can be very effective if you have the right players to pull it off.
And Amorim seems to believe he has those players in Man U.
He does.
He's been talking about wanting to implement a more dynamic, possession-based style of play.
A bit of a departure from what we've seen from them recently.
Big time.
You're right.
Do you think this formation is the key to unlocking that vision?
It could be. It definitely gives him more options in terms of how he wants the team to attack and defend.
Right.
But it's not just about the formation itself.
Yeah.
It's about the players understanding their roles,
The movement.
the communication, all of that.
Like one giant chessboard.
Yeah.
He's moving all the pieces around, trying to find that winning combination.
Trying to outmaneuver the opponent.
And speaking of chess, it's kind of ironic
How so?
that Amorim's Sporting CP team actually knocked Arteta's Arsenal out
Oh, that's right.
of the Europa League back in 2023.
Talk about a twist of fate.
It's like they're destined to clash.
It seems that way.
But how does that previous encounter, that win for Amorim, factor into the upcoming clash between Man U and Arsenal?
Well, it's hard to say for sure because a lot has changed since then. Both teams have evolved.
Right.
But that past victory could definitely give Amorim and his players a little boost in confidence. They know they can beat Arteta's Arsenal.
Yeah, that psychological edge.
Exactly. And that can be a powerful thing.
Absolutely. But we can't forget about the challenges.
Oh, of course not.
Amorim is facing even beyond that rivalry.
Yeah.
There's Luke Shaw's recent injury.
Right. A big blow for the team.
It adds another layer of difficulty to this whole
Definitely.
rebuilding process.
It limits Amorim's options tactically.
Yeah.
And, it also underscores the kind of
Yeah.
Unpredictable obstacles he's up against.
Part of the storm, right?
Exactly, part of that unpredictable nature of football.
Almost like Amorim knew this kind of stuff was coming.
He did say it was going to be rough.
He even admitted to being a little bit surprised by the sheer magnitude of Man U.
Yeah, that's understandable.
The constant spotlight, the scrutiny.
Managing a club like Man U, it's a unique beast.
It's in a league of its own.
Yeah, you've got the global fan base, the history.
The weight of expectations.
Yeah, every decision is magnified, every result dissected.
And on top of all that, I read that Amorim actually has less time to prepare for games at Man U than he did in his previous role.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, that has to add a whole other level of pressure.
It does. It really speaks to the relentless pace of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And the intense scrutiny at a club like Man U.
So the big question is,
yeah,
can he thrive in this environment?
Can he find a way to implement his long-term vision?
While navigating all these immediate challenges.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. And that's exactly what we're going to delve into as we continue.
All right, I'm ready.
Our deep dive into Ruben Amorim's Man U challenge.
Let's do it. One thing that really struck me from these articles was how Amorim talks about instilling, simple things in the team.
Yeah.
Even with the limited training time he has. It's like a back-to-basics approach.
It is. Why do you think he's emphasizing that so much?
Well, I think it speaks to his pragmatism, He recognizes that you can't build a winning team overnight.
Right.
You need to start with the fundamentals.
The foundation.
Exactly. Solid defending, crisp passing.
Clear communication.
All of that. You get those things right.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow.
It's interesting because it seems almost counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it?
To what we usually see from, big name managers.
Right. They often come in with these grand tactical schemes wanting to revolutionize everything from day one.
Exactly.
But Amorim seems to understand that true transformation takes time.
Especially with a club like Man U.
Yeah, that's been through so much upheaval.
So much change.
He's prioritizing stability and consistency.
Which makes sense.
It's probably the smartest move given the circumstances.
And it all ties back to that storm analogy.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. He's preparing everyone for the long haul.
Right.
Acknowledging that there will be growing pains.
It's almost like he's setting realistic expectations.
He is.
For the players and the fans.
Exactly. He's not promising instant gratification.
No quick fixes.
No. He's emphasizing the process, the hard work, the resilience
it takes to build something lasting.
And that's a message that I think will resonate with Man U fans.
Oh, yeah.
Who have seen their fair share of false dawns in recent years.
So let's talk about Amorim's long-term vision for Man U.
Right.
What kind of team is he trying to build?
What clues do we get from these articles?
Yeah.
Well, he's talked about wanting a team that's dynamic.
Okay.
That controls possession, that plays with intensity and intelligence.
Sounds exciting.
It does.
But also like a pretty big departure from what they've been used to.
It is a significant shift.
Do you think he has the players to pull that off?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, he's inherited a squad with a mix of talent and experience.
Right.
But there are definitely some gaps that need to be filled.
Right.
He'll need to be shrewd in the transfer market.
Yeah.
Identify players who fit his system and his philosophy.
And it's not just about bringing in new players.
No, you're right.
It's about getting the best out of the players he already has.
Absolutely.
We've seen glimpses of that already with some players responding well to his methods.
It's about maximizing their potential.
Exactly. One of Amorim's strengths seems to be his ability to connect.
Yeah, he's known for that.
With players to motivate them.
To instill a sense of belief.
Yeah, he's been described as a demanding but fair coach.
Which is a good balance.
Pushes his players, but also creates a supportive environment.
Exactly.
And that man management aspect is crucial.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially at a club like Man U.
Right, with those big personalities and egos.
Do you think Amorim has the temperament and the tactical acumen to handle that?
I think from what we've seen so far, he seems to have struck the right balance.
Okay.
He's assertive and confident without being arrogant.
Right.
He commands respect without resorting to intimidation.
Yeah.
And tactically, he's shown a willingness to adapt.
Okay.
To be flexible, to tailor his approach to the opponent and the situation.
So he's not just a one-trick pony.
Not at all. He's got depth.
But let's be realistic, even with the right players.
Of course.
And the right tactics.
Yeah.
There will be bumps along the way.
There always are in football.
Right. Amorim himself has predicted that storm.
He did.
So how do you think he'll handle those inevitable setbacks?
Well, that's where his leadership will be truly tested.
Right.
He'll need to stay calm under pressure, make tough decisions.
And keep everyone on board.
Exactly. Maintain the trust of his players and the board.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes game.
High stakes.
And the margins for error are slim.
But there's also this incredible opportunity
There is.
to rebuild something special at Man U.
Right. To restore them to their former glory.
Do you think Amorim has the vision, the determination, the sheer willpower to pull it off?
He certainly has the potential.
Okay.
He's brought a renewed sense of optimism to the club.
Yeah.
A belief that things can be different.
A fresh start.
Yeah, but whether he can translate that potential into tangible success?
Right.
Well, that's a story that's still being written.
And it's a story that you as a Man U fan
Yes.
are directly invested in.
Absolutely.
These tactical shifts, these simple things he's emphasizing, the way he handles the pressure
It all contributes to the bigger picture.
of where Man U is headed.
Exactly. It's not just about wins and losses.
Right.
It's about creating an identity, a style of play, a culture of excellence.
That can sustain success for years to come.
That's the ultimate challenge for Amorim.
It's a fascinating journey to follow,
It is.
filled with uncertainty, excitement, and the potential for both triumph
and heartbreak.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's what makes football so compelling, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the drama, the unpredictability.
The passion.
All of it. And speaking of compelling, there's one aspect of Amorim's approach that we haven't touched on yet.
Okay.
And it's something that could make a huge difference in how he weathers that storm he keeps talking about.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's his emphasis on humility. You see it in all these articles, how he acknowledges the size of the task at hand, the weight of Man U's history.
He's not coming in with, that swagger
No.
like some managers do.
Right.
He's talking about earning respect building from the ground up.
It's a different approach.
What do you think that says to the players, to the fans?
I think it's refreshing.
It feels genuine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like he understands the responsibility.
He's not taking it lightly.
Oh.
And it all ties back to that storm analogy.
It always does.
Right? He's not just bracing for tough matches.
Yep.
He's acknowledging that scrutiny, that pressure to deliver.
At a club where every little thing is analyzed.
Every move.
It's like he's disarming the critics before they can even criticize.
Yeah, like he's saying, look, I know it won't be easy.
There will be bumps.
But I'm here for the long haul.
Trust the process.
Exactly.
Do you think the Man U board will buy into that?
That's the gamble, isn't it?
It is.
He's asking for patience.
Which is rare in modern football.
It is very rare.
It really is. Like he's trying to shift the whole mentality.
The cultural shift?
Away from that short-term thinking.
Yeah, build something sustainable.
Even if it means weathering some storms.
He seems to believe it's the only way.
And that takes us back to the Arteta comparison. Arsenal showed faith in Arteta.
They did.
They gave him time.
Time to implement his vision.
Even when things were rough.
It wasn't always pretty.
Do you think Amorim will get that same level of support?
At Old Trafford?
Yeah.
That's the big question the history of Man U suggests. Maybe not. There's that demand for immediate results.
Right.
But there's also a sense that maybe the club recognizes the need for a different approach.
A long-term vision.
Exactly.
So if they do back him, give him the space to really build, what do you see as his ultimate legacy?
At Man U.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just about trophies.
Okay.
I think he wants to create a team
Yeah.
that reflects the club's identity,
Right.
A team that plays with style, with intelligence, with that hunger to win.
Bring back that Man U magic.
Exactly. Restore them to their rightful place.
Among Europe's elite.
Yes.
But it's not just about reclaiming past glory.
No, you're right.
It's about creating a new chapter.
A new era.
Amorim's era.
Defined by his vision.
So as we wrap up this deep dive
into
Ruben Amorim's Man U challenge,
a lot to think about.
We've explored his tactics, the storm analogy.
The Arteta parallels.
But it seems like everything hinges on one crucial factor.
And that is, will he get it?
That's the question you as a Man U fan will be watching unfold.
It's going to be an interesting ride.
It is. Will the club, the fans, hold steady during those inevitable storms?
Allow his vision to take root.
Or will impatience and the pressure for immediate results cut his journey short?
Time will tell.
It will. It's a fascinating narrative.
It is.
Full of potential and uncertainty.
That's what we love about football.
And that's what keeps us coming back for more.
Absolutely. We'll be here to unpack it all as it unfolds.
Every twist and turn. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.